Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And it's time to talk about The Ring 2. So I want to start by saying I did watch the. It's the first time I did this too. I've watched this movie now 3 times. When it first came out on DVD, when I first bought this from the pawn shop, and then now. None of those times until now have I watched the short film Rings, directed by Jonathan Liebsman, which was the lead into this film. And it's weird that it was a different director who directed that than this. It's even weirder because the director, Hideo Nakata, is the original director of the Japanese Ring films. And he did a terrible job with this movie. But the little prequel short film, Rings, follows Jake, played by Ryan Merriman, as he is brought into this little group of people who are watching the videotape, making copies, and giving it to other people, doing experiments to see how long they can last, what side effects happen. And I think it's a nice little 16-minute short film. To say it shows the lead up, but it also changes. If you're going to watch The Ring 2, watch this. Watch The Ring's short film, because it changes the point of view at the beginning. You don't know, Ryan Merriman and Emily Vandekamp, who are both in this short film, are at the beginning of The Ring 2. If you watch that without watching this, there's no context, and you think he's just, some guy trying to pass this on to some stupid girl from his school. But you do find out that it's more than that. He was part of this group. They were doing it. They had a tale, which comes up in Rings, the third film, which this is more connected to that than the other two, but like, except for Ryan Merriman, he's going to. He had a tale, but the guy's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And he find out that there's this girl, Vanessa, that's part of the group. And she told the guy to say that she wants to see what happens on the 7th day. No one has made it to the 7th day without dying. So, yeah. And it ends with, basically, with Emily, Billy Van Camp's character, agreeing to do it. And then we lead into this film. So the opening of this film, of Ring 2, starts with Jake and Emily, and he goes to show her the tape, and he goes in the other room, he waits for the tape to get done, the phone rings, and it's his friend Eddie, the leader of this group. He says, yeah, I showed it some stupid girl that I went to high school with. Which, if you start watching this, it's like, oh, you think it's his girlfriend, and he's like, oh no, it's just some girl he knows from school, it's not important. But they've known each other for a while, man. I don't remember if that scene is in here where they're talking on the swings. I think it's in the movie part. But yeah, it's just, he's doing this. And he comes in, he's on the phone, and then it starts to flood water into the kitchen. And obviously it didn't work. He runs in, and she's covered her eyes. And I haven't said this the first time I watch it, and the second time I watched it, every time I watch this, I call bullshit. This movie says, oh, it doesn't work because she covered her eyes. No, that's not how it works. According to this film, she covered up her eyes. She covered up her eyes when the tape was playing, so it didn't work. But that's bullshit. Because she's in the room, the tape is playing, it counts. She can hear the sound, it counts. She's in the room with the tape on, it counts. Whether she's looking at the TV or not, it counts. Okay? I'm just saying it counts. But because we gotta have this opening, it doesn't count. And Jake dies. which is a shame because I remember when I saw this, I was like, oh, Ryan Merriman, I know him from Smart House and The Luck of the Irish, and later on Destination 3. And then I also watched Ring of Endless Light, Disney Channel's movie he was in, which is not bad. But yeah, and he dies right away, and I was pissed. And then we cut to Rachel, our heroine for this film once again. And so, this has always frustrated me. What exactly did she do at the end? Because there's this whole group that exists around the fact that you make a copy, you put it to someone else. Did she tell she was the only one who knew about it, make a copy. She and Ada were the only ones that knew. So did she tell the person that she watched, hey, you could save yourself if you make a copy of this tape, show it to someone else. All you have to do. Why would you do that, first of all? First of all, there's always the moral dilemma. Should you do it? Well, if you find the right person, it's like a child molester or a murderer or someone who's going to die from cancer, they're going to die anyway, right? So just that. Show it to them. Just saying. Give it to someone who deserves it or is in need of it in case of the cancer patient. I'm just saying. But yeah, did she tell them? Like, I find like it would be, I don't know. I would sit there with them as they watch the tape, or just stand there not looking at it, I guess. You know, the more I think about it, like, well, Rachel was already infected, so it doesn't really matter. But, like, never mind. Then watch it, and then destroy the tape so it can't, you know. She did that. Destroy the tape. But I'm guessing she had to tell him a moral thing. I don't know. But it's spread, apparently. The biggest thing about this film that frustrates me is it doesn't feel like a Ring film. The Ring, the first movie, and even the third one to an extent, is about the tape. It's all about, you know, oh, you have to do this, for finding out what's going on with the tape, all that stuff. This film, she comes after Rachel because Rachel just so happened to move to the same state and neighborhood and town as where the tape was at the time. She shows up. She's a journalist. She shows up. She sees Jake dead, destroys the tape, and then Samara comes after her. She takes over Aiden's body for some reason and wants Rachel to be her new mommy for some reason. Why? Just why? Why? There's no reason given. There's too many subplots in this film. First of all, there's a subplot with Simon Baker's character Max, where you think he's gonna make a love interest, but he ends up dead because of Aiden Samara kills him off screen, by the way. And I feel like the ring face, as they call it, isn't as scary. In this one, it wasn't the first one. The two times you see it in the first one, you see it 2 times in here too, but 2 times you see it first one, they were scary. With the niece and with the ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, whatever. They were freaky. Here it's like, and it's like, that's not freaky. That's just somebody doing a goofy face. It's not scary. And then there's a subplot where she goes looking for information for no reason. Like, she starts to track down, she's going to start trying to figure out, you know, who the biological parents were. As if that's going to do anything. And it doesn't. This whole movie, she tries to find out about the biological parents. We meet Evelyn, who is the biological mother of Samara, played by Sissy Spacek. And Yeah, we learned more about what happened with her, who the father was, and stuff. But yeah, just I don't know the whole thing. She showed up. She was pregnant. She tried to drown the baby. She said the baby told her to. There's something dark inside it. I don't know. It doesn't really lead anywhere because none of it, none of it leads to a conclusion. It's just information thrown out to the audience. It doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't have a solution. It just. And to that, there's another subplot because she's trying to give Aiden a bath and he becomes afraid of the water. He turns into Samara, so she tries to drown him, but Max shows up and he sees Aiden, so he stops her. And then they take him to the hospital and Child Protective Services. And look, I hate it in horror movies when Child Protective Services is called because it's just a way to stall the runtime. That's all it is. And that's what it is here. Like, oh, it separates them. She goes on a little journey. And then he kills Elizabeth Perkins' character with a needle full of air. So they're here. I don't know. And then goes on to kill Max. There's really no need for the subplot. It possibly dropped after this. I don't know. And so she comes back to find Max dead. After her pointless journey. And then she has a showdown separating Samara from Aiden by drowning him by drowning him and then reviving him, and then she goes into the TV world and has a showdown where you get the line, "I'm not your fucking mommy." And she kicks her into the well and closes the well as if that would stop her. And then the movie ends because we are told it's all over. Thanks for telling us, movie. We're supposed to believe that kicking her down the well and closing the well is going to do anything. Is that even a real well? What? Wasn't the well already closed in the first one? This movie is... I don't fucking know. The Ring's short film was better than this. I'll tell you that much. So I'll give that a pretty good. I'm gonna rate it. But, yeah, Artificial Intelligence, Peacemaker, Minority Report, Time Machine, House of Sand and Fog, The Contender, The Ring, Ringu, Collateral, In Dreams, Nathan, The Haunting. It's about family. But, yeah, I'm not going to go as far as to say this is a fry in hell. I'll never watch it again, but it's not something that really gets me frustrated. It makes me scratch my head more than anything. It just doesn't make any sense. And the original director came back, and I have my theory. I think he did this on purpose. I think he was pissed off. Okay, so he made these two or whatever films in Japan called Ring, Ringu, whatever. He made them and they got recognition. And then someone in America decided to make an American version that surpassed his versions. So because Gore Verbinski was busy with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, they hired the original director and he said, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop this from surpassing my movies ever again. I'm going to make a piece of shit and no one will say American movies are better. And I'm trying to do Japanese, but it's coming out German or Russian. Nobody will say the American movies are better. They will say my Japanese movies are better. I don't know. That's just what it seems like. Like, if I know it's the original director, I'm like, he did this on purpose. He made it shit on purpose so that his movies could get better recognition. Oh, you know, this is a terrible movie. We know what are good. The Japanese ones. Those are good. Not as good as the American one, but the Japanese ones are better than this. I'd rather watch those than this thing. You did a better job with those. Let's watch those. Yeah. I would say it's not worth your time. That's the rating I'm giving it. It's not worth your time. And we got one more. Yes, I'm doing Rings next. That one's better than this. Although there are some questions pulled off by that movie, but we'll get to it. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on The Ring 2? Let me comment below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.